A.C.E. School of Tomorrow is not just a curriculum, it's a complete program. One important part of this program is student conventions. Nowhere else on earth can 1 week last a lifetime. But the idea of student conventions can seem overwhelming, especially for new schools. How do we get started? What's involved with student conventions? Is it even worth it? Please take a moment to watch this video as we discuss preparing for the week of a lifetime. Thank you for joining us for this session titled Preparing for the Week of a Lifetime. First, let me begin by saying yes, it is definitely worth it. What your students will take away from student conventions will stay with them for the rest of their lives. Maybe you're a new school and you're not sure what student conventions are. A.C.E. student conventions are exciting, faith-based competitions where students not only showcase their talents, but also grow in ways to prepare them for life. Through the process, they learn dedication, how to manage their time, and how to prepare well, and how to compete with Christ-like attitude. Junior student conventions are held for students ages 8 through 12. One of our prayers is that God can capture the heart of students early. Junior conventions are instrumental in this aspect. They're also important because they help prepare younger students for regional student convention. For more information about junior convention in your area, contact your school's ministry representative. Regional student conventions and the International Student Convention are for students ages 13 through 18. For this video, we will refer to these as RSC and ISC. These conventions bring together students from all over your region and the world to compete in over 140 different events, such as academics, art, needle and thread, photography, music, platform, and athletics. These events allow students to highlight both academic and creative talents. The academics category includes traditional scholarly pursuits like Bible memory, spelling, chess, science and social studies projects, writing, and computer programs. Both the arts category and the needle and thread category provide outlets for creativity through painting, sculpture, woodworking, quilting, embroidery, and other handcrafted items. The photography category includes both monochromatic and color options, focusing on scenic, still life, and character-themed subjects. The music category is one of the largest areas, offering numerous vocal and instrumental opportunities, from solos to large ensembles, as well as music composition and arranging. The platform category includes the speech and drama events, and encourages communication and performance through oratory, monologues, dialogues, storytelling, and preaching. The athletics category includes the track and field events, table tennis, basketball, tennis, and volleyball. Throughout all categories, there is a consistent emphasis on Christian character, seen in events like the Christian character trait entries in photography, the A.C.E. character trait video, as well as all of the Christian service awards, where students are recognized for memorizing significant portions of the Bible or for writing out the entire New Testament. These diverse categories ensure that every student has a platform to demonstrate his or her unique God-given abilities and develop them for ministry. And the exciting part is, A.C.E. student conventions are not just about the competition. Each evening includes a powerful rally with inspiring worship and special student performances that minister to the students. During the rallies, the students will hear a biblical message that challenges them to give their lives completely to God and use their gifts for His glory. So now that we know what student conventions are, why should they be important to your school? Psalm 139, verse 14 says, "I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well." Each of your students is fearfully and wonderfully made. But many times, they don't really understand just how fearfully and wonderfully made they are. A.C.E. School of Tomorrow created student conventions to help students discover what they're good at, their God-given gifts and talents, and learn how to use those gifts in service to others and to the Lord. As students prepare and compete, they grow in confidence, commitment, and a spirit of excellence. They learn how to lead, how to stay dedicated through challenges, and how to work hard at something that matters. These are lifelong lessons wrapped up in one unforgettable experience. Let's watch the testimonies of some who have seen firsthand why student conventions are important.
I have loved watching the impact that Regional has built into these students, the services, the spiritual aspects that they get, the friends they make at convention, and then, of course, love seeing the confidence and the boldness in performing and being able to work on a project and seeing them succeed. I love watching these kids blossom and being able to do that.
I had the opportunity of seeing young people in the character that they displayed at International Student Convention. They get to regionals and internationals and it becomes so much more than just about them. It's about the experience, it's about hearing the Word of God and growing, and decisions my students make at regionals or at internationals is always a highlight of our year at our Christian school.
The kids go, they have a great time, they want to be there, and then they walk into that great assembly hall every evening and they hear some of the greatest preachers across America, and their lives are eternally touched. I have to say that RSC and ISC have had a profound spiritual effect on the kids of our school.
Now, I know after hearing that, you can't wait to get your school involved with student conventions. But where do you start? I'm glad you asked. Once the dates and locations have been announced for your regional student convention and the international student convention, it's time to start planning. You can find those dates on the student programs page of the A.C.E. website. In the planning process, you need to consider details such as travel plans, the budget, fundraising, student events, and event practices. Ideally, all planning should be completed within the first 2 or 3 weeks of the school year. That way, you can spend the remainder of the time focused on helping the students prepare to do their very best. Don't worry if you're just now watching this video and have already started your school year. The steps will be the same, just with a smaller timeline. The key is to prepare as early as possible. You'll want to start the logistical planning by working out your travel plans. Determine the best route to both RSC and the ISC destinations and how long it will take to get there. Depending on the length of your trips, you'll want to consider arrangements for any hotel stays along the way. You may also consider looking for places of interest, such as museums and national parks, or fun activities like theme parks to enjoy along the way to celebrate your students' hard work and accomplishments throughout the school year. This will make the trip even more memorable. Your convention budget will be the next item to plan for. As you prepare your budget, the most important item to include will be the registration fees for both RSC and ISC. Now that you've completed your travel plans, you can include in your budget any travel expenses such as fuel and potential vehicle rentals, as well as food and lodging costs. Be sure to include the ticket costs and parking fees for any of those fun activities you have planned. 2 potentially overlooked budget items involve shipping for early entries and music or script licensing fees. Plan ahead for any potential early entry events that may need to be shipped to your RSC. This wouldn't be a budget item for ISC, as those entries are now uploaded into the registration program. Don't forget to get permission to use any music or scripts in your events. Most publishing companies will require a small licensing or royalty fee. It is important to get this permission to prevent future legal issues. Once you've got your budget, it's time to think about fundraising. You'll want to begin your fundraising efforts as early as possible. As you are planning your fundraisers, it would be a good idea to meet with your parents and get their input. It can be easier to get the parents on board if you choose fundraisers they can connect with. Also, get the students involved. It helps them to take ownership and makes the trip more meaningful for them. Be sure to schedule fundraising events well in advance to allow for effective advertising using free options like word of mouth, church announcements, and social media. A successful fundraiser relies on attendance, so you'll also need to choose the right time of year when planning your fundraisers. To maximize participation and profit, consider the time required, the weather, and what season people will most appreciate the event. Remember to let people know what your donations are going toward. In most cases, asking for donations rather than setting prices can yield better results, as people tend to feel more generous when not limited by a price tag. There's a wide range of creative and effective fundraising options to help support your school's student convention fundraising goal. One popular category involves selling donated goods or services. This includes events like silent auctions, where families, businesses, and church members donate items such as homemade goods, gift baskets, or service vouchers, like lawn care or child care. And attendees place anonymous bids to win the items. Bake sales, cookbook sales, and used book sales allow students and volunteers to provide tangible products that appeal to the community, while yard sales offer a way to recycle gently used items for a good cause. Students can also offer practical help through student service fundraisers like babysitting, tutoring, cleaning, or car washes. Even recycle drives like collecting aluminum cans, ink cartridges, or used clothing can turn unwanted items into financial support for your school. Another impactful fundraising category involves student performances and creative presentations. Hosting a school play, a musical performance, or an I.S.E. preview night featuring the student art, science projects, or speeches not only showcases student talent, but also draws families, church members, and the broader community. These events can generate funds through admission fees or donations, while also giving students the experience of performing or presenting in front of an audience. This category is especially effective because it builds school spirit and community engagement while raising support. A third approach centers on student-led service events, where students actively give their time and energy to raise funds. Ideas like Parents' Night Out, providing childcare for donations, pancake breakfasts, pizza lunches, or car washes offer useful services in exchange for contributions. Seasonal fundraisers like gift wrapping for Christmas or singing telegrams for birthdays or Valentine's Day add a fun, festive element and are often very successful around holidays. These events rely on student participation and teamwork, making them great for character building and community involvement. There's also a category of community-wide events and competitions that generate excitement while raising funds. Hosting a tournament night for games like chess, table tennis, or basketball encourages healthy competition and draws larger crowds. A t-shirt design contest where students submit artwork and sell the winning design promotes school spirit. Neighborhood cook-offs, whether chili, pies, or soups, are definite crowd pleasers. And penny wars, which are a fun student-based coin competition, can generate surprising amounts of money from spare change. Potluck dinners are another simple and effective way to raise funds while strengthening community bonds. Finally, schools can explore direct donations and partnerships. Students can participate in a Bible memory challenge, collecting pledges for each verse memorized, or organize an online fundraising campaign using videos or letters to tell their story and invite contributions. Restaurant partnership nights or spirit nights allow local eateries to donate a percentage of sales when school families dine in, especially if students help serve or clean. Traditional fundraisers through professional companies, like selling candy bars, greeting cards, or wrapping paper, are also widely used. For more active participants, events like a jogathon, jumpathon, or bowlathon allow students to collect pledges based on performance, promoting both physical activity and school support. You can also be creative with your fundraisers. Our school had found a unique fundraiser that was very successful for a few years. A gentleman we knew grew pumpkins. He offered our students the opportunity to pick as many pumpkins as we thought we could sell. The only thing he asked was for a small percentage of our profit in return. So we took the students out and picked pumpkins. We set up a pumpkin stand, we advertised on social media, and after giving the man his requested percentage, we were still able to raise approximately $600. This fundraiser worked for us until the market for pumpkins changed. So while you're being creative, you'll want to ensure there's a market for it in your area. When planning your fundraisers, choose events that minimize spending which will significantly reduce your risk and increase the likelihood of a successful return. For instance, you might be deciding between selling custom t-shirts or hosting a bake sale. You might have to spend $500 up front to order 100 custom t-shirts. If all t-shirts are sold at $12 each, the fundraiser could bring in a $700 profit. However, if only 40 of the shirts sell, the school risks losing money. In contrast, a bake sale typically involves minimal costs. Many of the items can be donated by parents and students. If it costs $4 to make one cake and you sell the cake for $12, you've just made an $8 profit. If you sell 30 baked items in your sale with an $8 profit per item, you'd bring in $240, resulting in a much more reliable profit with very little financial risk, making it a smart and safe fundraising option. The main takeaway is this: the more donations you have toward your fundraisers, the lower the risk and greater the profit. Now that you've made your travel plans, completed your budget, and planned your fundraising, you should set up a parent meeting to explain the overall plan. During this meeting, you would share the estimated costs, talk through expectations, and let them know how they can help. This allows them to connect with the process, especially with the upcoming fundraisers. It is a great opportunity to get parents excited and on board. They are a huge part of making this successful. Once the logistics have been set into motion, it's time to begin working with the student event planning and performance preparation. The first step is to familiarize yourself with the current student convention guidelines, which you can find at the web address listed below. There will also be a link to the student convention guidelines in the YouTube description. These guidelines will help you be prepared to answer questions about the various events and assist students through their convention preparation. If this is your first time and you are not familiar with an event, don't worry. It can be helpful to talk with your school's ministry representative for advice. He may help you make contact with other schools in your area that have previously attended convention. Those schools may be able to help give you some first-hand tips about your specific RSC. The next step is to guide students through selecting and preparing for their events. Start by distributing the event list and meeting with the students to help them create a preliminary list of events that sound interesting to them. Review these lists individually with each of the students and encourage them to choose a variety of events. A good rule of thumb is for them to do at least one event they like and are good at least one event they may be weak at but school staff see potential, and at least one group event. While you're evaluating their events lists, keep track of how many events each student signs up for. There are limits to the number of events a student can enter. A student can enter a maximum of 12 events for RSC and ISC. Of those 12, they can only enter a maximum of 8 performance events at RSC and a maximum of 6 performance events at ISC. Performance events are those events where students must be physically present to compete. You can find more detailed information about those limits in the ISC general guidelines. When choosing events, encourage the students to stretch themselves outside of their comfort zones. Sometimes the most amazing talents come out when students try something new, even if it feels a little scary at first. That quiet student might have a powerful speech just waiting to be shared. They just need someone to love them and show them God has blessed them and wants to use them. We once had a student who was so afraid of being in front of people, it was hard to get her to enter any kind of performance event. We encouraged her to be a part of the school's ensemble. It was tough for her at first, but she did it. And we really praised her for stepping out. Each year, it kept getting a little easier. This past year, not only did she do well at singing in the ensemble, she volunteered to be a part of the school's A.C.E. character trait video. All it took was planting one small seed at first, watering it throughout the years, and watching it blossom as God helped her to find her talent. Now that the events have been selected, a great tool to use is the Student Preparation Handbook found on the website. Along with the guidelines, there will also be a link to download the handbook in the YouTube description. This tool can help each student stay organized by breaking large tasks into smaller goals, tracking progress, and providing guidance throughout the student's preparation and practice. It's also helpful to distribute a copy of the guidelines for each of the students' individual events. The guidelines not only provide the required criteria for each event, but often give helpful hints for the students to do their very best. You may also consider including a copy of the judges form so the students can see exactly what areas the judges will be evaluating. Lastly, find experienced advisors to help coach the students in various areas of competition. These can be school staff members, people from your church, or other members of your community. Perhaps the church choir director may be able to offer some help with your music events. A local attorney might be happy to coach a student in public speaking. Someone from your local historical society could help your student prepare a social studies collection project. Once you've identified your event advisors, you will need to help your students select appropriate material. Songs for the music events, scripts for platform events, and topics for writing or academic events. Remember, each script, song, or topic should be focused on God. It should be biblically based, highlight Christian character, and be encouraging to the listener. Establish early deadlines for written work, photography, sewing, and art so students can focus on music and platform preparation in the winter and spring. Create a practice schedule and make sure each student receives the support he or she needs to ensure that their entries are memorized and polished. It's really helpful to plan at least 2 one-hour practice sessions every week. Afternoon sessions work best for performance practice, while mornings should remain dedicated to academics. Provide students with opportunities to perform for chapels, special parent nights, or local churches to help them build confidence and improve stage presence. And above all, cheer them on. Pray with them, encourage them, praise their efforts. Let them know how excited you are of their growth and hard work. After several months of hard work, practices, and fundraising, the journey to I.S.C. begins with RSC. You'll need to remember to register your school through the convention registration portal. This will be a task to do as early as you can, maybe as soon as your school returns from Christmas break. Note that the registration and housing assignments are only confirmed once all fees are paid. Once you're registered, you should begin receiving any necessary communication about your RSC from your RSC coordinator. These communications will be very important as you head to your RSC. Good communication with your RSC coordinator will help to ensure a smooth week of competitions at RSC. Once RSC is completed, your students will qualify to compete at ISC by placing in the top 6 of their specific events or by placing in the top 3 for elimination events. If you have a student or students that do not place in any of their events, they may still be able to compete at ISC. A.C.E. also offers open events for students to compete in at ISC. Open events such as website design, color guard, preaching, or radio program offer the ability to compete at ISC without having first qualified at RSC. Following the same steps as RSC, you can begin the registration process for ISC. Again, you'll want to do this as soon as possible. At the conclusion of your RSC, you'll receive the judges' sheets for all of your school's events. Use the period prior to ISC to review the feedback from the judges' sheets. That feedback will be important in helping your students to refine their events. Also, continue finding opportunities for them to present their events. It will keep them sharp and build excitement. When all the weeks of preparation are complete and you're ready to take your school to the International Student Convention, breathe, enjoy the experience, and watch your students flourish because you've successfully prepared for the week of a lifetime. Before you go, don't forget to download the Passport app for the latest information about convention. The Passport app can be found in the App Store or on Google Play. Students and sponsors alike can check the app for their ISC schedules and event locations. You'll also gain access to the campus map, awards lists, and special ISC announcements. Thank you for taking the time to learn about student conventions. We hope this gives you a clearer picture of what to expect and how to get started. Don't worry if you feel a little overwhelmed at first. Every year gets easier, and the rewards for your students are well worth the effort. you're helping them discover their talents, step out in faith, and grow in their walk with God. May God bless you as you work with each of your students, and I'll look forward to seeing you at ISC.